I was seeing. I was watching her. I learned more from what I saw my mom do than what she told me to do. Let me give you another example. Growing up, going to my Hispanic church, maybe this is true of the Asian communities too. I'd walk into church, one of the first things my mom would tell me is, make sure you what? Say hi to everyone, especially the aunties. Jaime, without fail, Sabbath after Sabbath, Jaime, make sure you go up to the aunties, say hi, greet them. I'm like, oh, mom, whatever. I would not like going out of my way to say hi to folk. Hated it, frustrated. Right? I was just like, oh, like they know who I am. I'm not a mystery. They see me. I walk in. What I do is say hi, right? And now, guess who walks into Costco hoping to run into some of you all? Me. Why? My father. My father will make friends of anyone. He walks into any place and he'll talk to the cashier and be like his best bud by the end of our shopping round. I may have not listened to what my mom said, but what did I do? I saw what my dad did. And now I'm the same way. So, parents, your children will do more of what you do rather than do what you tell them. Let me condense this and make it into a very simple principle for you. Show more, tell less. Let me say that one more time. Show more, tell less. And let's bring it home. Do you want your child to be kind and loving? How do you treat your spouse at home? How do you treat the people that cut you off in traffic when your kid's in the back seat? How do you interact with those people that make you upset? That's how they're going to treat folk too. Do you want your child to have integrity and be honest? Do you practice radical honesty, not just in the big things, but in the small things? Do you want your child to be a faithful steward with money? What do you do with your tithe and offering? Where does that go? What's your relationship to money like? Do you want your kids to grow up to love God? Do your children see you praying and reading the Bible? Is Jesus the center of your life, or is he just someone you meet once a week? Because your kids will learn more you do than what you tell them. Show more, tell less. You will leave a legacy for your kids, the inevitability of parental influence. Now, let me give a disclaimer. You can be the best parent in the world, and your children will still make the decision to do what they will want to do, and that's not your fault. Adults, it's not your fault. So you're like, no, but they're adults, and there's some people here who have been carrying burdens in their hearts, thinking that the way that their kid turned out is because of the things they did. Let me free you of that burden. That said, God being the best parent in the world, Adam and Eve still decided to do their own things. But I will say this, your case is not made worse by you choosing to be faithful anyway. So again, show more, tell less. Be the kind of person you want your kids to grow up to. Don't do as much talking, but do a lot of practicing. Show them what it looks like to be a godly person. Now, one more story of one more king. Go with me to the story of, go with me to 2 Kings. 2 Kings verse 11. 2 Kings chapter 11. The kings of Judah were a mixed bag, right? We've been talking about the kings of who? The kings of Israel, we were. Now we're moving to the king of Judah, the kings of Judah. They're a mixed bag. You kind of have some good kings, some sort of kind of good, sometimes, and you have kings that are also bad. But here's what's interesting. The kings of Judah, for the most part, are good, and then one of them decides to marry Ahab's daughter. Now, Ahab had married who? Jezebel. Jezebel was not a god worshiper. She worshipped Baal. This king of Judah marries Ahab's daughter. You can imagine what happens, right, to that dynasty, right? So you have two kings of Judah who become bad. And then you have one that's born. His name is Joash. I shared this with some of you at our board meeting. You have little boy Joash who's born, and he doesn't have a dad because his dad, who was wicked, Joash's dad, who was a wicked king of Judah, gets killed. Joash is born, and his grandma wants to kill him, right? This whole political intrigue and conspiracy, it's wild, right? Go read the book. So, point is, Joash is born. The legacy that his dad did leave him is a bad one, right? It's rough times. And he doesn't even have a dad now to raise him. How is he supposed to grow up to be a godly king? 2 Kings chapter 11. Look at verse 21. The last verse in chapter 11. Are you there? 2 Kings chapter 11, verse 21. Instructed him. So watch this. In the absence of a parental role model, in the absence of a good role model, this random, not seemingly random, but this unrelated person sees a gap in this king's life and says, I'm going to step into that gap. I'm going to be the man who chooses to be there every day of his life, to mentor him, guide him, be present, and lead him in the way of the Lord. And this is the amazing thing. All the days that Jehoiada was alive, King Joash was a faithful king. Go to the book of 2 Chronicles. So you know I'm not making this up. Go to 2 Chronicles chapter 24. You there? 2 Chronicles chapter